Girls love Beyonce. Girls love to fuck with your conscience. Girls hate when niggas go.
What's poppin'? It's your girl Customs Eye back with another video. Sorry if it seemed like I got an attitude a little bit, but I literally just recorded this whole video in iMovie. I'm gonna not record the whole thing. With that being said, we're about to get into a get ready with me. While I also tell you a few tips on why you feel like your art may not be improving. Disclaimer, I used all Fit Me, and Wet n Wild products in this video. If you know anything about makeup, you know those are like the cheapest brands to get. So if you ever feel like you need to break your pockets to pop out, you don't. I just want to let you know that now. But yeah, so let's get into these reasons why you may feel like you're not improving on your art. So the first reason is maybe you need better reference, or you just need reference in general. I know a lot of artists, sometimes they feel like you're like a better artist if you don't use reference, or like you just really don't need it, but a lot of the times you do, especially if like you're trying to draw from life, or you're like trying to draw something realistic. Even if you're not trying to draw something realistic, like you're just doing a cartoon style, but maybe it's like a hand or like a certain object that you wouldn't know how to draw off the top of your head. Like, yeah, some people can do that, and shout out to them. They hard, they different. But me personally, I need a good reference to look at. I need something to look at to very much solidify what it is I'm drawing and make sure it's not like looking weird or just something completely off from what I'm actually trying to do. I can definitely remember from like my first formal art class that I took, the first thing that we did was like draw from life. So like still lifes, we would set up still lifes and just sit there and draw them. Sometimes we would literally just look at each other, like look at a person's face and then draw it on the spot right there. And that really helps you just kind of like get into your right brain, I believe it is, that you want to be in, to just sit down, draw, get everything down, not be too worried about how long you're taking, or, you know, if it's how the outcome is about to be. You're just focused on what it is you're drawing at the moment, and you're looking at that reference, and you're looking back at your drawing, and you're putting things down, and it ends up looking good. So, yeah. So the next one could be maybe your heart is just not in it. This one might seem a little subjective, but this is true shit. Like, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were talking about how, like, when you first try something and it doesn't work out the first time and you don't persevere, you just kind of give up. And the reason you gave up is because you was never passionate about it in the first place. I feel like this is true. Like, this might be the same thing with art. You might feel like, you know, art is something that you really want to do, you like to draw or whatever, but you just kind of realize like your heart is not in it. And of course you're never going to improve at something that you're not really fucking with. Subconsciously, you're never going to give it your all. You're never going to keep trying new things and trying to elevate. So you're never going to get anywhere with it because you really don't fuck with it. So that just might be as simple as it is for why you feel like you're not improving. The next one, low-key, kind of ties in with the first one, which is you need drawing fundamentals. So with this, I hear a lot of my instructors often say a good, like, piece comes from a good drawing. A good painting comes from a good drawing. So, like, honestly, some artists, they don't like have like a underlying underdrawing or like a line drawing first when they start things. They could just sit down with like the medium that they're using to finish the piece with and get started, no problem. Once again, me personally, I'm not finna do that. I need a good drawing in order to get a good painting. And there are like certain drawing fundamentals that you need to be aware of before you try to start this drawing, because you can sit down and try to draw before you get to the painting as much as you want. But if you don't even, you know, if you're not measuring things right, if you don't know like certain, you know, positions of things and perspectives, of course the drawing is still not going to be right. So the painting is not going to be right. So you can always just sit down, look at like YouTube videos, get to drawing fundamentals, or maybe if you're taking a certain class, wait till y'all get to that point in the class. But often I can tell you 9 times out of 10 a piece would be better if you do a drawing first. I know there are some people, like I said, who don't draw before they get straight to like rendering the piece, but 9 times out of 10, if you have a solid drawing, it will improve the overall piece. So that is something to keep in mind. The next reason might be you need to try a different medium. So every artist has like their favorite medium, like not necessarily favorite, but they know what medium like is going to get them the result that they're looking for, and it's like their go-to for getting a solid piece down. So perhaps you just need to find a different medium. You might be working in digital right now, but whole time you might really be good at traditional. I was finna say digital twice. You might be good at traditional. You might find that you have a better result with traditional, so it would behoove you to try a little traditional media. So yeah, that's just something to consider, like when you're worried about how a piece is turning out, you don't like the overall look of it. It might be just the fact that you're not using the right medium for you. I feel like this is also why it's so important to explore, like when you're just starting out with making art or just art in general. Like even if you feel like you're an established artist and you already know like what your favorite mediums and styles and everything is, you feel like you've got your whole process down pat, it's still very important to always go back to the drawing board, quite literally, and look at like what your different options are, what your different mediums are. Like try different mediums, just try to see what you can create. Honestly, I feel like that is something that's very important. A part of an artist's journey is to just try to figure out like what types of things they can create with different like mediums. For an example, I used to use acrylic heavy. I used to love acrylic. Acrylic was just my go-to. But then I took a oil painting class, or no, a portrait class, and we had used oil primarily. And that really showed me like, yeah, I actually mess with oil. Like I can do something in oil. I can make a substantial piece in oil. I like the way it works. I like the way it's looking on the canvas. So I just started using more oil, and now look at me, I'm making whole series in oil. So literally you just got to sit down and try stuff. Like you might feel like you're trash, but it's not you, it's just what you're using. It's just not for you. So try different mediums and possibly you'll see an improvement in your art. So this leads into the next one, which is try a different style. This is something that a lot of artists first struggle with when they're like first starting out, or just in general, finding your style. Like, rather you know how to do a lot of different things or you don't, often it's hard to find what it is that's just for you. Like, what you like to see yourself doing, what you might get hired the most to do, or what your audience likes to see you doing. It's hard to kind of decipher what your like overall style is. And so once you figure that out, guarantee your drawing is going to get better, because you'll automatically know like where you want to go with it and how you want it to look, how you know it's going to look at the end of it, and you know like what overall look you're actually going for. So it's important to just really think about what your style is. I know personally I low-key struggle with this. I know I've said on this channel before that like my quote-unquote style was like magical realism, but that's not really what I mean when I say drawing style. Like that's more of a like I don't know, like a subgenre of art per se, but it's not necessarily a drawing style. So I feel like perhaps once you figure out what yours is, you can most definitely see an improvement in your art. My last suggestion for you is perhaps you just need to accept where/who you are. I don't mean to sound pessimistic or anything, but maybe art is just not for you, and that's okay. Like, everything is not for everybody. Like, for example, these niggas can't accept sometimes that everybody can't make music. Everybody's not supposed to be a rapper. Like, you're not supposed to be in a stew. It's okay. Everybody's not supposed to be a trapper. Everybody's not supposed to be a business person. Everybody's not supposed to go to school. You know, it's just something in life that is for you. And once you find it, of course, you're going to see yourself strive in it. You're going to always feel like you're improving. You're going to know you're improving because that's just for you. So those are some things to consider if you feel like your art is not improving. I hope y'all like this video. And with that being said, I'll see y'all on the next one.